Sheffield. On today's walk, I will be taking you around the city centre of Sheffield and showing you some of the historical buildings and hopefully a few surprises along the way. So anyway, I've decided to walk, so it'll take me about 40 minutes to get into the city centre, and let's do it. So that's the Manor Lodge School, which I'm not sure if it's still a school. Can't see any signs. 1876 that was built. And I've seen a lot of the signs on these houses saying that they were built around about 1900s. Some of these older houses. So it would have been an up and coming area back then. It's a bit run down now, parts of it. I did once look at possibly moving into a house on City Road, one of these on this side. The house was very grotty and run down, but the views were amazing, because the views look out right over the city centre, which you might be able to see now as we approach Granville Road. Yeah, there we go. So from the bedroom windows of them houses, you get the views of the whole of the city, including Bramall Lane, which was nice, but the house was pretty grim, so I didn't bother. I just took a slight detour because I noticed this thing. I don't know what it is, never seen it before. Just a private property on it. The event is the lodge. Interesting. So this is the top end of the old Parkour Flats, which I did talk about in a previous vlog. It looks like they're upgrading another part of it, and this is going to be a student neighbourhood, autumn 2020. Maybe behind schedule, what with the coronavirus and everything, but it does look like it's almost ready. And just at the end of this road, you'll be able to see a bit of the old Parkour Flats. So as the sign says, there's still been upgrades going on. This part's obviously not being done, but some nice looking street art around there. So it's very windy around here, so I don't know if you can hear this properly, but I did take a slight detour rather than walking straight to town, because I wanted to get a view of the city centre, and this is a good place as any. So this is probably a good thumbnail opportunity. Sheffield in the background. Welcome to Sheffield. And where you are now, here stood the United Free Methodist Chapel, which had a seating capacity of 700, and it was built on this steep slope, which meant that 3 of the 4 floors were below ground level. By the time of the Second World War, the area contained some of the worst slums in the city, and much of it had been condemned as unfit for human habitation. The area was cleared of housing in the 1960s when Parkour Flats. This is part of the Parkour Flats, and they go on right over to the start of the city centre. They were built in 1961, completed in 1961. They're now the largest Grade 2 listed building in Europe. Became a listed building in 1998, I think. and just over there would have been Clearwood Flats, which were 15-storey high-rise, which were demolished in 2004. Right, so this will lead us down into the train station. I'm going to cut through the train station and then head into the city centre, where the actual walk that I'm going on today will begin. So this is the back entrance to the Sheffield station. I'm going to go through here and this will bring me out on the other side into the city centre.
Bicycle spaces are at the very rear. It is now mandatory to wear a face covering when travelling.
So I'm all masked up, but there's hardly anyone here. Doesn't appear that many people are travelling. So if you arrive in Sheffield by train and you come out into the city centre, this is your first impression of Sheffield. So this is your first impression of Sheffield. It's quite nice as far as first impressions go, I think. Signs up there saying Sheffield Festival City, Music City, City of Makers, the Outdoor City. None of these things are happening this year. So we've got the Sheffield Chamber Music Festival, Peace in the Park, which is a fantastic free festival, Music in the Gardens, and tramlines, which you've probably already heard of. Okay, so if you just come out of the train station and just turn to the right, it will bring you to Pond Street, which is Sheffield's main bus station and coach station. So all the National Express coaches leave from here, from Pond Street. It's in a little bit of a strange place now because the surrounding area is a bit run down, so a lot of the buses don't actually come into Pond Street anymore, because if you come into Pond Street and then you want to go to the main shopping areas, you've still got a bit of a walk. So it's until the surrounding area is being developed more, it's not the busiest of bus stations. There's still lots of buses leave from here. As you can see, it's not busy at all. So I've finally reached the actual start of the walk. It's now nearly 2:45, which is later than I was intending to start, because I took a scenic route into town, and I also bumped into a friend and was sort of chatting to him for about 20 minutes. So yeah, it's a little bit later, but I think I'll get it all done, because I think most of the buildings that I'm going to be heading towards are closed, so I can only show you the outside. I can't go in any of them. And that's certainly the case with the first building on the tour. So if you can see behind me, I'm stood at the Cathedral tram stop, right in the city centre on High Street, and as you'd imagine with the name, just behind the Cathedral tram stop is the Sheffield Cathedral, which unfortunately I'm not able to take you inside because it's closed, but I can at least show you around the outside. So it's a very beautiful cathedral. It was built in 1101, the original building, although it was rebuilt in 1282, and there's only parts of that building that actually remain. So actually makes it probably the oldest building in Sheffield. It is very nice inside. It's free to get in. So unfortunately I can't take you around it today because it's closed. So that's the first stop on the Sheffield City Centre walk, Sheffield Cathedral. So right opposite the Sheffield Cathedral, you've got the Sheffield Cutlers Hall, which has been here since 1638, although this building dates from 1832. It doesn't look very open, although people are going in and out. I don't think it's open to the public. I can ask. Is this closed?
Huh?
Is it closed? Is it? Can you go in or?
No, it's not open, no.
It's not open. Oh, right.
Not yet.
So this is one of the first surprises. This is not on the tour, but it's very interesting. It's a sundial up there. Not sure what that used to be. I mean, it used to be a restaurant. I'm not sure what it was built as. Can't see a year on it anywhere. So I've looked around this side. As I always say, always look up when you're in Sheffield, above the shop fronts, because there are some really interesting buildings. No information at all about that. So I've just walked up from the cathedral and up Church Street, and now I'm on the bottom of West Street. But I'm not going to walk up West Street, I'm going to walk along Leopold Street and have a look at this building. So I need to make sure I don't get run over by a tram. So this was originally built as a school and then became the education offices. It is a listed building and they've all been refurbished. In fact, there's information here about the education offices. From 1933 to 1964, Firth building was used by the Sheffield Central Technical School. During that time, over 5,000 boys passed through the school, many progressing to successful careers in the steel, engineering and building industries. So it was opened in 1879. Yeah, what I remember it for is when it became the education officers, and people on low incomes used to bring their kids here and get free clothes. So I remember coming here and getting duffel coats and PE plimsolls and trousers, all for free. And unfortunately, every kid in the school knew what these education clothes looked like. So if you went to school wearing Eddie clothes, as we used to call them, you used to, well, you were quite likely to be bullied. Kids are lovely, aren't they? So yeah, it has been refurbished into offices, hotels and restaurants, but it has kept to the original design. I'll just take you through Leopold Square. Right, so I can walk around here. So lots of restaurants in here now. We've got Wagamama's there, Agra's Indian restaurant, never been, but I've heard good things about it. Cubana, which I have been there, but when it was in its previous location, and that was very good. I've heard this place before. Oh, Vietnamese street food. I think this place only just opened just before lockdown, and then obviously it's closed down again. Let's have a look at the menu. Oh wow, they have beer lao, and the big one will cost you £7.50, which is about £7 more than it was in Vietnam, or should I say Laos. I mean, obviously it's going to be more expensive. They do have live music and entertainment in this square during the summer, during tram lines. Wow, remember that for a story. 2 boys from this school bring the school into disrepute by consuming unwholesome sweet meats in the street. These sweet meats were in fact dripping cakes. How dare they? Nice benches, some interesting little stories. I actually didn't know that had been turned into a hotel. Leopold Hotel. So the walk continues along Leopold Square, head towards the Town Hall, and then take your first right into Barker's Pool. Okay, so this is Barker's Pool, and it's called Barker's Pool because there used to be a large cistern which held rain and spring water for the people of the 16th century Sheffield to use. Demolished around 1796 when it was no longer needed as Sheffield's infrastructure was improving. And that's the John Lewis building there. One of the John Lewis buildings that's not actually going to close down. Normally these fountains would be on. They're lit up at night as well, look really nice. And this is the Sheffield City Hall. Famous venue. Seen lots of great concerts here. Built in 1932 and may actually not reopen after the coronavirus. Coming to the top of Barker's Pool. Just show you this. I did show you this in the previous video, but it's worth having another look. Statue to commemorate the women of steel who helped the war effort in both World War I and II. Alright, so this building, which is now the Wetherspoons, used to be the old Sheffield Waterworks. See the old sign up above, Sheffield Waterworks Company, 1867. So I'm heading back down away from Barker's Pool now, coming back along the way I came. Well, this is going to bring me out onto Pinston Street, and just around this corner is the Sheffield Town Hall, which is just about to start revealing itself now. So I'll give you a closer look. Again, can't go in. I could have saved this walk until everything was opened up again, but don't know when that will be. So at least you get to see the buildings from the outside anyway. So 1897 this place was built. This is built to house the increasing number of staff as Sheffield was progressing, and staff were being employed to look after the waterworks and roads. They did plan to extend it in the 1930s, but then the war happened, and the site where they planned to extend the town hall is now known as the Peace Gardens, and that's where I'll be taking you next. That used to be a women's toilet, and there's a men's toilet at the other side, which I now believe is a bar. So here we go, here's the Peace Gardens, which, believe it or not, was actually made in 1998, over 20 years ago already. So there's a few dedications. Tells you that it used to be called St Paul's Gardens, and it was named by the people of Sheffield decided to call it the Peace Gardens, and then dedicated to the people who suffered during the Hiroshima, and the 3 remaining survivors were here. It was rebuilt in celebration of the 2nd millennium and rededicated in the name of peace in 1998. And so in there it's got memory of all the citizens of Sheffield who lost their lives as a result of war, and then a dedication to the victims of the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s. Never noticed those before. A bit of Sheffield dialect here. That's pretty cool. Mardy Bum, made famous by the Arctic Monkeys. Berate, it will be okay. I like them, I'm going to have a look at some of these.
Sit there for a minute, if nobody takes it, the machine swallows it. It doesn't just sit there. Unless it was somebody right behind.
This is a good one. Gio with his son. Stop nibbing. Civic, which means see you later. Last one, oh, famous one, that's A up. So if you hear someone saying that to you in Sheffield, A up, then that basically means hello. Right, I'm going to sit down for a few minutes, just have a bit of a rest. Well, it might be small, but I didn't know that we got a memorial to the Holocaust in Sheffield. So I've actually stood here and played a gig in front of what I was told was about 2,000 people during Sheffield tramlines with a band called Jungle Lion. It was a bit livelier that day. So I've just come out of the Peace Gardens and turned left down Norfolk Street, and now I'm going to cross Surrey Street and walk down Norfolk Street, which will bring us to our next stop. So this is the Upper Chapel, which was built in 1700, and it's the oldest surviving building in Sheffield that was made of brick. So we're in Tudor Square now. That's the Crucible Theatre, which, as you can see, is just about to start with the World Championship snooker. There's the Lyceum building. It's a theatre. And just to our left is the Sheffield Central Library and Graves Art Gallery. It's starting to rain now. So the Crucible was built in 1971 and the Lyceum was built in 1893. They're both listed buildings. And this place here is the Winter Garden, which unfortunately is closed still. So this is St Paul's Tower, which is the tallest building in Sheffield, 101 metres high, 32 stories. So that's the Charles Street car park, which is known as the Cheese Grater for obvious reasons. Oh, travellers from somewhere else to here, rising from Sheffield Station and Sheath Square, to wander through the labyrinths of air. Pause now and let the sight of this sheer cliff become a priming place which lifts you off to speculate. What if, what if, what if? Cloud shadows drag their hands across the white, rain prints the sudden darkness of its weight, sun folds and leaves the bleaching evidence of light. Your thoughts are like this too, as fixed as words, set down to decorate a blank facade, and yet, as words are too, all soon transferred. To greet and understand what lies ahead, the city where your dreaming is repaid, the lives which wait unseen, as yet unread. So that's the showroom independent cinema there, just to our right. It's going to make a move here because it's on green. It doesn't stay on green for a long time. And Sheffield's famous lead mill is just over there. So now I've done a full circle right back to where I started. This leads me down to the Sheffield train station. Just beyond that you can see the Parkour Flats. So this is the Sheffield station, which was opened in 1870, so it's celebrating 150 years this year. Most of the station front was built in 1905. So if you come out of the Sheffield station, cross the road and turn right, you'll come to this walkway which takes you straight into the Sheffield Interchange that I was in earlier. The guy coming up on the right is regular in the showroom bar. He's always in there. I guess that's where he's heading now. Looks like he's the keyboard player of some 1970s prog rock band. So if you come from Sheffield Station and you need to get a bus or a coach, as I said, just turn right, cross the road, turn right and walk through there, and that brings you straight to the interchange. And the very first section that you come to is where you would get a coach. So I'm going to put my mask on. Again, very quiet. Not much sign of any buses or coaches or even people. It's one or two. So just here, this is E1 and E2. This is where you get the National Express coaches. There seems to be much going on there right now. I think I need to get out here. To my next stop. If it lets me out here. Just at the top of that ramp is a place called DJ's, which is a cafe, little cafe, and it's pretty good. Great place to get something to eat before you go on a travel. Used that many times. Yeah, so there's not much sign of any coaches around here. Maybe it's too late in the day, I don't know. I did look at National Express timetables to buy tickets to possibly do a little mini adventure, and they are available. So just ahead of us there you can see the newer part of the Parkour Flats, and this is the next stop. The old Queen's Head. '15th century this was built. It's one of the oldest buildings in Sheffield. Sorry, one of the oldest pubs in Sheffield, probably the oldest pub in Sheffield. It is rumoured to be haunted, of course, as all old buildings are. It is open. To wait to be seated, use sanitizer and all the usual stuff. So just here we can see the culverts that carry the River Sheath. So the River Sheath does go underneath the railway station. And it comes out here very briefly. Before disappearing again. Be interesting to do the walks under there. I know some people who have done it. I bet it's very, very creepy down there. That's for another day. So close to the renovated part of Parkour Flats. The one that's nearest to the city centre, being done up, is now private apartments. It's a little bit slow getting off the ground. People were not buying them, but it does seem that there's quite a few people in them now. So this place to my left is the Ponds Forge International Leisure Centre. Swimming baths in there, water tunnels. It is Olympic standard swimming baths in there. There used to be a nightclub in there as well. Many years ago I went to the opening night. Can't remember what it was called. If anyone can remember, leave it in the comments. So this is Park Square. This is the I think probably the biggest roundabout in Sheffield, and this is where you will go if you want to head out of Sheffield. Leads onto the M1, the M18. Doesn't look like that's open. I don't think swimming baths are allowed to open just yet. I'm not sure where I go now. So that's the Commercial Street Bridge, which brings trams in and out of the city centre, and there's a pedestrian walkway across the top as well, which is actually where I should have gone, because this means I'm going to have to walk all the way up to come all the way back down again. So I've never really paid much attention to this building before. It's in a part of town that you wouldn't really have any reason to come down really. Tram stops there, so if you get off in town you'd walk up. And if you were getting the tram from town, you just get on there and then just drive straight past it. It used to be an Oriental buffet. That's the last time I knew it being used. It's not being used for anything now. So yeah, the Sheffield United Gaslight Company, built in 1874. Described as one of the finest 19th century buildings in the city. And now it's not being used. So this is the entrance to the Victoria Quays, where I came and enjoyed my first lockdown pub beers the other day. I'll not be heading in there today, so I'm going to be leaving, well that was quick, underneath here. Not sure why it told me to do that. So this is the River Don, and just over there is the start of the 5 Weirs Walk, which I did 3 days ago, and I did make a video of that. So if you're interested in doing the 5 Weirs Walk, which I do recommend, then check out the other video. You can do the 5 Weirs Walk from here It will take you up to Meadow Hall, and then from Meadow Hall you can walk down the Sheffield Tinsley canals. So it's a cool walk. Lasts about 4 hours, just under. And yeah, it's a good mix of nature and industry and a bit of Sheffield history. So I recommend doing that. So I'm pretty much, once I cross this bridge, I'm on the start of the 5 Weirs walk. But I'll not be doing that again. Not today anyway. A lot of new housing around here. Just to my left, at the other side of the River Don, is the Wicker, which I think I'll be heading towards. Oh. Great. So I'm not sure where I can go now. Well, I'm going to have to go the long way around. Is that hotel? I hope I can turn left here, then left again, and then get back on the trail. Hilton, Best Western Hotel. What I just walked in front of there is the Holiday Inn Express. So there's quite a lot of chain hotels around here, more than I thought, or more than I knew of. And just to the right is the, what's the name of that place? The Royal Victoria Crown Plaza, which looks much older. And there's the bridge that I was unable to cross. Obviously, that guy doesn't like Boris. I'm not sure which Boris he means. One can hazard a guess. So there's the Royal Victoria Crown Plaza. So yeah, I'm back on the 5 Weirs walk. I didn't expect to be back here so soon. So this is the Cobweb Bridge. If you watched my other video of the 5 Weir walk, you may remember that I had a bit of a scary experience when I was heading along the river straight into a gang of about 10 kids who did look a bit intimidating, but they asked me if I wanted to buy some weed. I said no, and that was the end of it. I did hide my GoPro, I didn't film any of it for obvious reasons. But then found out today that 2 days later a guy was doing the same walk and came across a bunch of kids in under a bridge, and they stole his headphones, stole his phone, headbutted him and stole his bike. So I guess I was lucky. But that is a real shame, because that is going to put people off doing it. Right, so now we're at the Wicker Arches. So a bit of information for you. The Wicker Arches were completed in 1848, 603 metres long with 42 arches, and at the time it was the largest masonry viaduct in Europe. So a grade 2 listed structure. So I don't need to cross the road, but I'm going to show you this place. Obviously it used to be an old pub, the station, and now it's a place called Diafa, which is a very nice restaurant, great food, good prices, friendly people. So I highly recommend Diafa if you're in the area. So this is the Wicker. Find lots of continental food places on here. African. This place is decent as well. I'm not sure if it's closed down. It looks like it has actually. Dalmaya. It's a shame. Right, while I'm down here, I just remembered I still need to find Star Anise. And hopefully not sacks full of it, but just little bags. So this place, Martin's Good to Go Afro-Caribbean, English and Continental Food Store. Ah, cash only. Bugger. I have no cash. Oh well, the hunt for Star Anise goes on. Gun Lane. You know what the history behind that is? I was going to go in that continental shop anyway and just have a nosy around, but I know if I'd have done that I would have found Star Anise and that would have annoyed me, so decided not to. It's a mini market here, International Grocers. Only looks small. Right, so now we're approaching Ladies Bridge, which is where my 5 Wears Walk vlog began the other day. So I'm stood on Ladies Bridge now. It's another grade 2 listed structure. It was built in 1486. It was widened on this side, where I am now, in 1760, and then after the Sheffield flood in 1864, it was widened on the other side as well. And in 1909 it was widened again. So it's been widened 3 times since it was built in 1486. So this is actually the old Town Hall. It was built in 1807. So it became a court in 1897 with tunnels that led directly to the police station. I do know that some people have actually got in that building and had an explore around, but I think it's all closed off now. And just here is where the old castle market used to be. It's surrounded by pictures of the old markets. That pretty much is where we're stood now. Remember that cigarette shop? That was the main entrance to the castle market, the top entrance. And you could climb up the stairs and go to the galleries. Which part of it's still here, as you can see there, the gallery's up there. You used to be able to go across and then walk around the gallery shops here. But obviously the market's not there anymore. I think they're renovating the old castle site. So that will all change in the next few years. Lots of street art down here. So the castle market's closed in 2013, and were replaced by a new market on the moor, which ended 100 years of market trade on this site. There was of course the Sheath market just further down, and there used to be an open air market as well. So you used to come here for your meat and fruit and veg, and the Sheath market was the fish market, I think. Might be the other way around. Let me know in the comments. Right, I'm going to take a break from the walk because I need some cheap snacks. Right on cue, herring food. It's a great place to come for bargain food. You can see here we've got iron roux, 69 pence, herring price 39. So I'm going to go for some of that. Got some transformer snacks, £1, and salt and vinegar fish and chips, 2 for £1. Bargain. So we're on High Street now. Bottom part is pretty ugly, but as you get further up, again, as I always say, always look above the shop fronts, because as you can see there, Sainsbury's, if you look above, nice, isn't it? And this here, you've got McDonald's and HMV on street level. If you look above it, it's the old Foster's building. It was built in 1894 and was the first building in Sheffield to have a lift. And that's the top of the shaft there. Didn't know that until today. Not sure what's there now, if it's offices or apartments. I know some of these places are apartments, because we were looking for some city centre living 2 or 3 years ago, and there is an entrance somewhere around here which takes you into all that building and into some apartments. And again, Lloyd's Bank at street level, but if you look above, that's a pretty nice building. I don't know where I'm going here. So you can probably see it better from this side, just there, that's the top, that's where the lift is. So there we are, that's the end of the walk. So all that's left to do now is to get the tram back home. So the super tram, which nothing really super about it, an alright tram I suppose, but that opened in 1994, took 3 years. So 1994, 26 years ago, we've had the super tram. The last part of the network opened in 95. We did of course have trams in Sheffield before my time. 1872, first tram network opened up and grew over the next 40 years, and it closed in 1960. So yeah, so 34 years without a tram network. So many thanks to the Institution of Civil Engineers, whose map I was using today, and I got a lot of information from them about the buildings and the areas that I've visited. I'll put the link to the map in the description below. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog. It's been interesting getting around Sheffield, which is a city that I've lived in all my life. But I found out some things I didn't know today, so hopefully you will too. So subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that stuff, and I'll see you on the next one.